Oh, this is cool!
Before we get into it, I just want to preface this as not an attack. We're going to be looking at and heavily criticizing some of the really bad takes made by Omaha. He's another Gears of War creator. He makes Gears of War stuff sometimes. We looked at some of his Gears of War stuff because bad takes, but whatever. I just want to preface this by saying no hate. Don't send any hate his way. Obviously, it should go without saying, but really, please don't do that. And I hope you enjoy our little breakdown reaction to this. If you like this and you want even more, let me know down below, and I'll continue to post stream highlights. Otherwise, I'll just keep everything up in the live streams playlist, which you can also find on the channel. All of our past streams and, of course, future streams. If you'd like to tune into a stream, we stream every Saturday at 9 p.m. Central, which is like 10 p.m. East Coast and like 7 p.m. Pacific if you need a regular time zone to base it off of. But yeah, that's about it. We're going to be reacting to some of Omaha's Gears of War content because I was told it has bad takes, and oh boy, there's some stupid ones in here. That's about it. Thank you very much for watching. Without further ado, let's get into it.
I need you to, like, word for word tell me what it is.
That's an intro? His intro is literally the edgy Skullfire meme.
If you get rid of your stupid little red thing around your thing, then it would be as much of a problem.
No,
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Why is it even there?
For the chat.
What do you
There you go. Now it's completely in the bounds. Shut up.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. You think we can get him on the podcast?
I think so. Message him. Shoot him an email.
Hey, Omaha, if you see this, you're welcome to come on the podcast. I've heard not
tell
very
him
many
you
good
are
things
coming
about
on
you,
the
but
podcast. It's okay. If you start saying racial slurs, we'll start saying homophobic slurs. Okay.
yeah,
I'll
you don't have to
counteract him.
meet fire with fire. It's a pre-recorded podcast. You don't have to make up. We can just edit it out.
No, because we both know we're not going to edit it out. Yeah.
Well, no, you're not, because you haven't edited a single
Yeah.
fucking thing for the
No.
podcast, Ben.
I'm getting there, okay? Just my computer is like actually and actively broken.
While crafting a solid, self-contained, character-driven story, the
So, first of
Wait,
all, that's wrong.
can I-
Gears of War 1
can
is
I-
not
can I make-
character-driven. There's no characters in Gears of War 1. What's up, Ben?
Do you know who he sounds like? Do you know who Oxhorn is? Like the Fallout lore guy?
One day while clearing Stony
And just like,
Lookout,
yeah.
we see the
Yeah. They got that.
Yeah, do you hear it?
They got that YouTuber lore voice.
Yep. Sorry, I just wanted you to.
Yeah, no, I hear it. He's like a little like toned down.
plot centers around a
Yeah.
failed attack from mysterious
Sorry, my
underground
bad.
humanoids
I just
and
wanted you to.
monsters
That's
who
like
call
the minute I
themselves
heard that, I
the
was like, this is like a shittier version of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it does kind of sound like that.
He gets rescued by his best friend Dominic.
By the way, all that stuff about him going to prison is not. This is all context that we got later. This did not come with the first game. Like, it's in the books and stuff, and those books and comics didn't come out until the way after the game. So, like, it's just not told. So he's setting up this context, which is helpful, but if we're looking at, if he's trying to portray this as, like, what the game was and what the remaster is, you're kind of, like, lying to the audience about the context, because Gears of War 1 didn't give you that context to begin with.
So they formed and created a new development team to make more. And with the interest in
So, like, for me, the whole point of going through this, Travis helped set that up. Yeah. Like, the whole point for me going through this is to correct him, because if he's not getting the basic stuff right, then I don't trust. I trust him even less.
Correct him there.
Because, like, him saying, like, they created a new team called the Coalition. It's not true. It was called Black Tusk Studios, and they just renamed them the Coalition and put them on Gears of War. I don't know what they did before Gears. I think they did, like, supportive projects and stuff or whatever. But, and also, if his whole point of the wasted remake is that it's not good or whatever, it helped get the team ready to make a Gears of War game, which, like, the whole point of it was to, like, get them, put them in the boots of Gears of War so that they could go from there. But I don't think he's going to make that point.
success at times of remastering beloved video games, for their first title, this new team wanted to give Gears of War a similar treatment. And in August 2015, a remake was announced, with the goal of accurately retaining the gameplay experience of the original while giving it a full contemporary updated visual presentation to the game's story. Gears of War Ultimate Edition is a remake that doesn't just neglect to improve on the original, it actually finds a way to make it worse. The end result was a shallow, lazy exploit rehash that removes a lot of elements and replaces them with nothing of value. It was a mix of individually good implements while telling a simplistic by-the-numbers story with very bland performances and presentation.
A very bland... It's all the exact same story and performances. Like, they just copied them over. I don't even think they re-recorded the voices. I think they just reused them. What do you mean bland? It's the same game. Like, that's a moot point. Like, that's why they have characters like Griffin and Prescott and Jace. Like, they didn't get Michael B. Jordan to come in and re-record lines for this remaster he was never in. They just took his lines from Gears of War 3 and put them in Ultimate Edition. The remaster improves nothing. And he shows, like, a bug. Gears of War 1, the original, is known for being prolific with... We watched the very first Gears React thing we did was about how Gears of War 1 was loaded with bugs and how that made the game more memorable. Like, what is the complaint? That it's buggy? Okay, I guess, but like the first game was too, so you can't say it's like a downgrade.
And with that being said, allow me to illuminate you as we revisit Gears of War Ultimate Edition.
Okay.
Illuminate.
It's a horrible transition.
So one of the strengths of Ultimate Edition is its gameplay, which shouldn't come as any surprise to anyone who played the original. Even though the original is fantastic with mechanics that felt great, varied, challenging, and fun, all of that is enhanced and much smoother. The original Gears of War was dark and gritty with a unique contrast designed in an honest, realistic light. It was grounded in minimalist lighting while only being visible when it mattered.
Isn't it just the same game?
Pretty much, yeah. I think most of his issue is going to be the art design of it. I don't hate Ultimate Edition. It's like 10% more cartoony, I guess you could say, with like the character designs, but like the tone is still there. Yeah, there's not a whole lot lost from it, but old Gears fans like to harp on this a lot, even though it's not that much of a difference from there.
Graphically, it's not bad, and it used the same engine as the original games updated, combined with some features from an entirely...
So that's also not true. It's a little more than just the art design. He has a problem with... Oh, I don't see it. Does it go on? No. The issue with him already saying that, like, the... What do you call it? The engine is the same? It's just flat out wrong. Gears 1 ran on Unreal 3.5, and Gears Ultimate is Unreal 4. So immediately, no, it's just a different, like, I think Bethesda has done a lot of issues for people understanding what game engines are, because with like the Creation Engine, a lot of people, rightfully so, will critique Bethesda and be like, hey, the Creation Engine has not changed, which it has not. It is basically just getting tiny little updates as it goes along, you know? It's not really getting any major overhauls or anything massive change to the physics, like... It looks different because they updated the UI, but it's like basically the same tools that they had in 2009 when they made Skyrim, right? Other engines update. Like you look at like what The Witcher 1 is capable of and what Cyberpunk 2077 is capable of. There's some massive changes in that engine because that's the what are they called? CD Projekt Red engine is. That engine has had a lot of changes. Unreal has had a lot of changes. The stuff that you can do with the physics and stuff in a game like Gears 5 or Fortnite is way different than what you could do in Gears of War 1 in 2005 or even like Unreal Tournament before that. Like, most engines are practically, in practical terms, more so of a built from the ground up type thing. And Creation Engine is that one exploit, but we don't really talk about video game engines unless we're talking about Bethesda and the Creation Engine. So I think a lot of people hear that about how the Creation Engine is basically the same thing, and they'll see something like this where it goes from Unreal 3.5 to Unreal 4, and they'll just immediately be like, well, it's the same thing. But like, no, like Gears 5 and 4, they have a lot of the same maps, but if you look at the maps, there's like some details in each of them that are really strangely retroactively changed, like I think reclaimed. There are some assets in Gears 5 that are like fully 3D. In Gears 4, they were 2D. And the same thing, like there were some in Gears 4 that were 3D and some in Gears 5 that are 2D. Like there's some apples or whatever on the map you can find that are just like completely different texture maps and stuff. And that's because it's a updated engine and you can't just click and drag from one to the other. So it's not the same engine. And when he says that here, where it's like it's running on the same engine, it's not. Like you cannot just click and drag stuff from Gears of War 1 in 2006 into Gears Ultimate Edition and just have it be the same, because it's just not how it works.
Now, when you think of good directing, you think about
The writing has not changed at all.
players had never experienced or seen anything like it before. It was a moment of demanding of focus and locked into position in a one-take shot, refusing to let players escape the frame, while giving just enough information so it could focus more on the tension, along with a brief obscure glimpse laced in darkness and shadow of the lethal monster. Ultimate
Kyle?
Edition directs it like a cheap action.
Huh.
Can I give my shitty take?
What's up?
Maybe this is because I never played Judgment and what a little bit of what Gears 1 or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I understand the characters, but I never understand somebody bitching about the writing. Like they wrecked the writing. I'm like, dude, this shit's bland as hell, anyways.
It's also
You
a
know what I mean?
remaster, so when he says the writing is worse, he's literally just talking out of his ass because it's a one-to-one remaster. Like it's the exact same writing.
I understand that, right? Yeah. I think when I say the writing's bland, I think the world building is cool. It's like the Fallout issue, right? Yeah, you know what I mean? I think the concept and the stuff I hear about Gears is cool, but I like look at the writing, yeah, or try to watch your videos, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is bland as hell. You know what I mean?
Sometimes
Right?
it can be. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get through with like the lore videos, because like a big thing for me is a lot of Gears of War lore stuff that I've seen. Like Barricade's a big one, and then like Shadows has done a little bit of lore stuff. Is that like a lot of Gears of War lore? It's like people reading from a script on Wikipedia, which is what I try not to do. I try to make it more like documentary styled, and try to make it
Yeah,
more
which
engaging
is-
and entertaining.
Which is exactly why, like, I tried to watch stuff about it just so you and I could have a conversation about Gears.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's
Every
it's
single
just not
video
very.
I think when I
Gears is not
just-
Halo good. Yeah, Gears is not like Call of Duty Modern Warfare. The original's good in terms of writing.
I don't know. It just seems. Maybe it's like I said, maybe it's because I just played Judgment. It just seems bland as hell. It's like
Judgment
okay,
is also
like,
not a good example. They had kind of given up at that point. Where like what he's talking about here, where like the Gears of War 1 cutscene is all done in one take and it's all done like really close. I don't think that's an intentional directive choice. I think that's a choice of it's a thing that happened as a result of them being on a crunch with a inferior engine to what they're working with later. Because if we look at even Gears of War 2, their very next game, they're doing this same kind of action movie directing, and that's because they had more time to work on it and they had more of a budget to work with more extensive things. They do the same thing in Gears 3 and in Gears Judgment. So this is something that Epic, very obviously, I think most of that directing, like the kind of horror stuff or whatever they're doing in Gears 1, is because they were setting the stage, and then they started to find themselves as the series went on. So if you're going to have this complaint about Gears of War Ultimate Edition, you have to have this complaint about Gears 2 and Gears 3 and Gears Judgment, which he probably doesn't like Judgment if you go by Gears fans.
I mean, that's my thing, right? Is
Like
that I
Epic
kind of-
themselves
every single-
were moving away from what Gears of War 1 was. So you can't blame the Coalition for that, because Epic themselves were doing it too.
I've tried to watch stuff on Gears and like watch gameplay because I don't want to fucking play the games and play a little bit of the games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the sole issue that I come back to is that it's not my issue with Judgment, it's just my issue with all of the games. Yeah. And
Yeah, they're very
don't get
like
me wrong,
particular.
I
I mean, they're hard to play,
play
especially if you're
Destiny.
playing on them on your own.
Yeah.
Horror movies well known to rely on limited budgets. Yeah, it's the exact same thing. You know, like how the original Saw movie was made on a $500 budget, and they kind of like are forced to be creative with what they have. That's exactly what Gears of War 1 would have been like. They had a small budget, a small team. They had a barely brand new engine. They're working with it, and they're doing their best. And by the time that Gears 2 is going, they have more of an idea of what they want to do. So it's more confident in its directing. Gears 3 even more so. I don't think that the horror, like one-take type thing is intentional. I think they're just doing like, just put the camera here and try to make it feel like, I don't think it's like an intentionally directive choice to do it like that. I think if you gave Epic a specific vision and like a bigger budget, it would have looked like Ultimate Edition.
Yeah, well, I agree. I mean, it's the ultimate edition. It's the better edition than before. I don't understand what he's complaining about. Everything is the fucking same.
He's complaining about the camera
Yeah,
work, but he's like throwing out terms that don't mean anything. Like the writing is worse, and it's like the
yeah.
writing literally physically cannot be worse. It's the exact same script. It's the exact same thing.
It,
The voice acting
it,
is worse. It's the exact same voice clips. The sound effects are worse. The sound effects are exactly the same. Like they might be upticked a little bit. It's the exact same effects and stuff.
it's all filler. It's kind of like the few times I tried to watch a Shadows video, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
where
saying, but like, dude,
you're in.
Shadows. I don't hate him, but like
No, I
when
don't
he
hate it either.
releases a video that's like release details about Gears of War E-Day, whatever, and it's like just a tweet that we knew about when the trailer came out, and he
Yeah.
posts it 2 weeks later, and it's like an 8-minute video so he can get mid-roll ads. That's where I'm like, okay, it's just not
See,
worth the
yeah.
watch, you know?
Well, that's
They added
yeah,
more to
well,
ROM's
exactly,
design.
right?
That, yeah, there are some things they changed, but that's not a script thing. That is a, you know, that's a art choice, which they did for everything. They redid everyone's design. Like, it's faithful to what it was,
Yeah.
but they, like, obviously redid Marcus's face and Dom's face and everyone. I also like the ROM
I don't know.
redesign.
I feel like I just have an issue with Gears as a whole. Maybe just because it hasn't grasped me, which is weird because games like Gears are kind of up my alley. Yeah,
Maybe we should
of
do an
things
idiot's
that I
guides to
enjoy.
Gears and see if
I
we can
think
get you into it from there.
I think so. Because I've really tried. Because it totally seems up my alley, and at every step
Yeah.
and corner, I'm like, this sucks. This is bland. This shit sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want
What
to
I
hear
mean
more
is
about how your wife fucking
they
died.
got.
You
Oh
know?
yeah, they got to do things they couldn't do in the original. Yeah, I know you're saying, Ben, but yeah, like I exactly like Rod even talked about that when they were making Ultimate Edition. They were like, ROM was a last minute. He was literally a last minute addition, like multiplayer was. And then with the Ultimate Edition, he was like, oh, we get to go now. We get to make ROM more unique because ROM was literally just a Theron guard without the helmet. That's all that he was. Like he had the knife and he had like his gun is literally just the front half of a troika and the back half of a boom shot like glued together. And they got to go and like make him more of an individual character and give him a redone character design that makes him feel, you know, like the general, the Locust Horde. And I think those kinds of choices are good. And like that's, you know, exactly what the game probably would have been if they spent more time on it.
Ending, shot of characters when they talk, shot of character holding item for us to look at, shot of character talking to everyone, shot of...
So yeah, this is just more of what we were just talking about. They're doing this because they have the time to be able to do that. I don't think that original one was intentional. I think they were like, okay, we have half an hour to work on this cutscene. What should we do? Put the camera here and hold it over their shoulders. Maybe show the bad guy. And they're like, okay, good enough. And they slap him in there.
I think
It's totally
I
fine.
like the.
He's
I
talking-
like the scenes that he's showing. I like them. I like the standing there. It feels very.
What
Gears
he's
of War
doing
from what
is he
I
doesn't
would say.
have. He has a more like personal take that he's putting on here, but he's
Yeah.
like trying to obscure it as fact,
Sell it.
which
Yeah,
is
he's
a
trying-
bad
he's-
thing to
he's-
do. Is like if you're trying to do a review type thing.
He's trying to sell opinion as fact. Yeah.
Yeah, you could say you don't like it, but like it doesn't make it worse. It's just different.
Yeah.
line between giving players enough information to understand the stakes involved while holding back just enough to maintain the interest and mystery. Like, who is that voice and why does it speak for the Locust? We don't know the answers to these higher questions because players don't need to know and likely don't want to know.
I'd also say, his personal takes. We'll get to that. Okay. Epic didn't know what the answer was either.
Yeah.
They didn't know
Yeah.
what was up with the Queen. Like, this is
I
an
think-
excuse that Epic and even the Coalition has hid behind forever, that Gears of War does negative space writing, which is just not answering questions and figuring it out later. Like this whole scene here with the Tempest, and you just have like this random Theron guard. Like,
Yeah.
he's there because they didn't know who Scourge was yet. They didn't have anything planned yet. They left it open for a sequel, but they didn't. You know, they did not have this yet.
They're not. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Sorry, do you have
it's
something?
It's bad takes, and like, it's not even like. I'm looking at this from somebody who just like enjoys games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And like, he's literally, by the way, that whole creeping thing. A wonderful way to talk about his own video. Fuck. Holy shit. I almost wish I was deaf
They're
again.
doing the first game to be
It's
successful.
horrible.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like you said, they didn't know the first game was successful, so you keep this stuff open. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, right? He's looking at things that are unintentional as intentional, and I think it's
Yeah.
insane, right?
He's
He's
doing
bitching
it
about
without the
bad writing.
context of
Yeah,
the production of the game, because the production
yeah,
between these two games is incredibly different.
yeah. He's
Plus the
he's
purpose of them.
specifically cutting out information, right? And then
Yeah.
sticking what he wants together, and then he's trying to like sell it out, which I think makes for an awful video, right? That could trick a lot of new fans and stuff like that. Like I think it's a scummy thing to do. You know
Well,
what
it's
I
just
mean?
kind of like misleading. I
Right?
don't think he's necessarily doing it on purpose, but like it's just like the sign of like a
No, no, no.
bad
I
like
don't think
video.
he's doing it on purpose, but that doesn't mean it's not scummy. Oh
That's
yeah,
what most of these things are, like
yeah,
because they're coming up with it as they
yeah,
go.
yeah. So that's
Very
why,
like
like, I don't know. Yeah,
it's more of a thing
it's
now that games are made with a plan in things are made with a plan in place, but like back
yeah,
then it was just not something that was
yeah.
done.
Except for Plants vs Zombies, because that lore was down pat, brother. Yeah,
Yeah, they had that locked in.
they
Either
had that
more
locked in.
interesting to ponder than answer. Revealing and explaining things, especially something like this, undermines the fundamental mystery. And it's like the makers put this prominent character into the game because they have all the franchise's assets available to them. So why not use this famous one here, right? But this was a very good and wise...
This is just
What?
we're just gonna repeat the point we just made. They used Mira because we knew what Mira was. When Gears of War 1 was made, Mira was not even thought of as like a character. Like they had this queen voice, but that
Yeah,
was about it. They didn't have
I
anything
get
about Mira.
maybe I like I don't know. I feel like maybe this is just me looking at it, but I mean like maybe I know it wasn't intentional back then, right? But there was some mystery with it, whatever. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, like
But
keeping
most
it
people that are
mystery
gonna
wouldn't be a bad idea.
but but most people that are gonna play the remastered edition are probably people who already know who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you might as well throw those people a bone. You know what I
Because like
mean?
the whole point
Right?
of Gears of War is like to bring people in, and like the fact that they
Yeah.
have a queen is not really that big of a spoiler or anything. Like we
No,
find out who the queen is
no.
like halfway through Gears 2.
Yeah. But even then, but you're bringing this now that they
But
get to
most
see
of the
the
people
queen
who
in
played
Gears
it,
1.
yeah,
Yeah. Right. Most of the people
most
that
of
are
the people
playing
who,
the new one, yeah, are people that have already played through all of them.
yeah. So
In
it's
my
just it's
opinion,
kind of
anyways.
irrelevant. Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah,
if
it's
you
relevant.
wanted it to be like a jumping off point, you didn't want to spoil things. I guess they could have done Scourge in the Hydra, but it probably was easier to just do the Queen, and it made more sense with like her speech and everything. It's more of
Yeah.
like a fan
I don't
servicey type moment, which is not like an issue really.
I think fan service is great when it's not done too much. If it's like the little bits here and there,
Yeah,
like I
like
think
it can't be
like
in
it
your
can be a
face,
good
but
thing.
like
Yeah, but you're like, oh shit, like damn, like she's in this one, right? Also, then it makes you feel like you're buying, in my eyes, right? If I'm buying an Ultimate Edition of something, right? Yeah,
yeah,
I expect at least better graphics and just something more to it. You know what I mean? Right? Yeah. And
yeah,
little moments like the Queen, for some people, can be like, oh shit, like she wasn't in the last one. And it kind of makes you feel like your money's worth. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Not saying that they
My
did that
biggest complaint
intentionally, but it can have
about
that
the Queen being
unintentional effect.
here is the fact that she's in like her hand stitched like the Savage armor or whatever, because this implies that like
Oh,
her armor is not she's not in armor because they're on the run in Gears 3, but like that she's just this is just her battle armor, which it doesn't look like battle armor. It looks like her on the run armor because she
no,
has like a big flowy dress in Gears 2.
I'll agree with you. That armor doesn't look very, I don't know,
It doesn't look very
war-like.
queenly. It doesn't look like
No, it doesn't look
regal,
very queenly.
which is what
Doesn't
it
look
should
like
be at this
something
point in the
that,
war.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
The
I
fundamental
can't when you do that
mystery.
Gears of
And
War
it's
lore
like the
video.
makers put this prominent character
Also,
use this famous
this is what we were talking about with like engines and stuff, assets. You can't
Yeah,
just take the
yeah,
Queen Mira's model from Gears 3 and drag and drop into Ultimate Edition. This is very
yeah. They
obviously
put
a
the time
new
in.
model that is
Yeah,
completely remodeled and retextured. Like
yeah,
if you dropped her in
yeah.
from Gears 3, she would look like she was from Gears 3. She wouldn't look like a new character.
Yeah, it doesn't just revitalize stuff and you drop in a new engine. You still gotta put all the work in.
making their appearance for their first time on console. And despite being longer, they detract from the story considerably. It's just the characters playing hide and seek running from a brewmog with a few
Can
more
you pause it,
additional
Kyle?
objectives. They're very
What's up?
Do you agree with that additional like content it takes away, or
I don't think
I'm
it
just
takes away.
curious to know like your take.
I understand the criticism that the this whole section is a little cartoony and it gets a little cat and mousey with like them running from the Brumok and stuff. Like I get that, but like the fact that it adds length to it, like, is not really a.
I don't know.
It's like whatever.
So, on the talk about the horror stuff,
Yeah.
Can I be honest with you about that? I just can't see Gears being a horror game. And do you want?
It never
can I
was.
give you a
Like,
few reasons? Can I give you a few reasons why though?
Yeah.
Big men and big men do not make me think horror. That makes me think of something
Exactly.
more like like Dune. You know what I mean? Like I'm about to blow some shit up, fuck some people's assholes. And,
Yeah. Like,
you know?
the whole thing about a horror game is that you cannot have power. Add context to when Rom takes over the train. Yeah, it adds to the story. But, like, horror, you can't have, like, if, say, like, Alien Isolation, if you had access to a Lancer and you can just cut the alien in half at any time, it's not a horror game. It's just a action game or shooter game that has like a horror atmosphere, which is what Gears is. People always call it a horror game, but it's not. It's just a shooter that has like a dark atmosphere.
You don't feel frail. Where like something like Dead
You
Space,
never
where
do.
even you have a little
Like,
bit
everyone-
of power, but you still feel frail in that game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right?
Like, everyone always talks about like the Berserker fight or whatever. They're like, the Berserker fight's so scary, and it's like, yeah, if you're 12, like. The Berserker fight on Insane is the easiest fight in all of Gears of War history, because all you have to do is pull out the pistol, shoot him twice, and hit the roll button.
Well,
it is not.
You know what I can compare that to? You know what I can compare that to? The Arkham Asylum, the Killer Croc thing. Remember that?
Yeah.
Underneath the sewers. When you're like 10, dude, that shit's like terrifying.
Yeah. But then, like, you replay it, and you're
like,
like, oh, I just hold this button and I win? Cool.
Yeah, it loses all the, you know what I mean? It loses all the, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I agree with this
Also,
comment. Also, big buff broad shoulders. Yeah, like
how are you supposed to scare that? Exactly. Like the whole game, none of the characters are scared. Marcus fucking stares down a corpser. Like,
well, like,
how is this supposed to be scary? Like, it's atmospheric, but it's not horror.
I'm going for my gameplay and judgment, and I pick up one of the guys because their models are kind of the same, like big and buff, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm playing as him. I feel more fucking invincible than I do scared.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right? Yeah, like it just, I don't understand him saying it's supposed to be a horror. Like, what?
Like, it's got like a kind of like horror like atmosphere, like the world is dark and stuff, but like
Fallout 4 or one of the Fallout,
it's no more of a.
I mean, when I was 5, you know,
it's no more like horror driven than like the atmosphere
like
of
Rage
Fallout 3
or
Rage or Left 4 Dead.
Or
Like,
Left
it's not
4 Dead, right?
Like, would you call Left 4 Dead or Rage like a horror game? No. You would just say it has like a darker atmosphere. And I think Gears of War fans get like hopped up on this.
I think, you know what I think they get confused from what I see? I think what they get confused is tension and horror. Yeah.
It's more aliens
you know
than Alien.
I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Left 4 Dead, there's a few tense moments in there, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're playing on harder difficulty. Yeah, but I'm not like I'm not going, right? It's just like shit, gotta be quiet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right? It's
like
not
through gameplay.
Scary. Yeah, it's not scary.
And the zombies in Left 4 Dead are scary because they're stronger than you. Like, the tank is stronger than you. You cannot just like walk up to a tank and shoot it with a shotgun. You know what the answer to every single enemy in Gears is? The chainsaw or the shotgun. You can walk up to a boomer and shoot him 3 times with an asher and he's dead. And it's like, boom. That's the biggest threat in the game.
I don't have to think of anything.
Dead like that.
like Left 4 Dead is like you're weaker than everything. There's a massive variety, and there's just also just hordes of zombies anyways. And you're in a dark and close place half the time, right?
I hope
like,
they're talking about going back to like the horror aspect of E-Day or of Gears in the E-Day game. If all they do is they just make the atmosphere like kind of darker, but it plays exactly the same, they would have failed on the horror aspect. Like, the point of horror is to make the locusts bigger and tougher than you are, so that you have like, so that you can't just take them in open combat at any point in time.
Like, you've kind of got to sneak around and stealth around, like make it, you know what I mean?
Or at least plan it out like more.
Yeah.
Like, I think of like a great game or type of gameplay that I think would do really well with Gears is like Last of Us. Like, Last of Us, you can take every fight in an open fight, but you have to have the ammo and you have to have the skill to pull it off. Like, it's not just, you can't just walk in and shoot everyone in the face.
I totally agree. I've heard this horror take about Gears before, and
it's so wrong.
I'm like, what fucking horror? Like, maybe there's a little moments where you're like tense. Yeah, but I'm not shitting my pants.
Yeah. We're going to continue and try to finish this bad video. He's saying like the pacing of the game is high paced, which by the way, the old game would have had that. The reason why it's only in the PC port, like we said, is because they rushed the game and didn't have it finished.
Yeah.
That's why it was in the PC port, not the console one. Like if you gave them a couple extra months, this would have been in the console version. I bet you he would not have this same criticism. He would be like, the pacing is amazing.
I don't understand why. Yeah, totally. I don't understand. Is he complaining about having more content?
Yeah. He says that it ruins the pacing and slows the story down when like all of Act 3 and the like most of the game is slowly paced. Like your entire trek through the Emulsion Factory is slow.
I know, but if there's a game franchise that I love and they come out with a remastered and they've got more content, even those little bits of dialogue add stuff to the story.
It's great to enjoy.
Isn't that something as a fan you want to be more immersed in the story? You want those little bits of things? Right?
You would think so.
I'm gonna blow my brains out.
Glowing lights, valves, will need a full set of tools, enough rated cable to connect 2 transform blocks, an interrupt.
Is his complaint here that the second time Mark and Baird butt heads? Yeah, is his complaint there that the writing is unnecessary? Because Baird talked like this throughout the entire game. Like he has the same level of snarkiness. It's just more of that character interaction.
I like that. I like that kind of stuff. So far, all this extra stuff, I really like it.
It's nice. It's not bad.
Yeah,
his complaint at the beginning, or his thing at the beginning, was that like Gears of War was a character-driven story, and this whole act gives us more character-driven story, and he's saying it's bad. So either Gears of War was not character-driven because you don't care about it, or like what is the complaint here? That it's kind of like it's a little fluff, I guess, kind of, but not really. Like it's not that bad.
I think
you're just complaining because it's different.
You're complaining because it's different, but he's
like the Brumok scenes are a little bit cheeky, and I'd agree with those. Like when they're like running directly ahead of the Brumok, like sure, yeah, that's kind of stupid. But like the rest of it is not that like it's not that far out of left field.
Okay, but for context, right? Yeah, I hate to be this guy, right? In the defense of the stupidity of running in front of the brew guys. They also have guns with chainsaws on them. Yeah, and they're big buff men that like to keep their arms out and wear like.
Well, yeah, but you can't chainsaw a Brumok.
Yeah, no. But my point is that it's already kind of stupid.
Well, yeah, it's goofy. What I mean, right? Like the world itself is goofy. Like you can't take a gun with a chainsaw on it very seriously.
Yeah, no, but you see what I mean, right? Yeah, like you've got conflicting.
Yeah.
You know, right?
And it's a series where you're fighting giant monsters. Yeah.
Yeah, you're fighting giant monsters. I mean, people are still making jokes about panels and shit, right? Yeah, like I feel like the fact that they jump out and run out and say that, I think perfectly fits in my opinion. Now I haven't played the games, but just from going off of what I've seen,
it's not that far off from what. Also, all this stuff was written by Epic Games, so either TC is bad or Epic makes bad stuff sometimes. You can't have.
This is
you can't have one or the other. You have to acknowledge both.
I love the government.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is.
This is like saying the Star Wars prequels are bad, but George Lucas is a good director. Like, no. Either the prequels are bad and Lucas is a bad director, or you secretly like the prequels and you think Lucas is a good director, because that's all Lucas, man. Like,
like you
can't have them both.
You can't. Like, you need it, pal. Take a fucking lane.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Oh my god! I swear to God, if you come here, where's Spyro? Where's my mod? Can we ban chat? Can we ban this guy? Where's
who are we banning?
Somebody in the Twitch chat is trying to like promote something to me. The price is lower than anything. Fuck you! I custom make all of my shit. Ban.
They're gone.
I don't know how to do this. I'm not even gonna worry about banning. That's too much work for me. That's what I have my mods for.
God, if only you had more mods, huh?
Yeah, wow. I know. Wow. I'm not giving it to you though. I forgot what I was talking about completely. Fucking bots coming in and advertising are throwing me off. It does the exact same. In fact, this does more because it gives you more context and more like personality through the acting and like the facial stuff. And context to the story.
older men working at the top of their game, and they all come across as flat, melodramatic, and low energy.
Pause it for a minute. It's so by
I
the way,
just
he said
look updated.
strong
Yeah.
older men.
Also, the series unironically, Hollow Earth is a thing in the series. Like, it's like the main plot point.
Wait, the Earth is hollow?
Yeah, well, Sarah is. It's not Earth, but yeah.
We
They
need to
like
we need
Hollow
to do
Earth
that
your
lore,
theory.
lore video.
Yeah,
This
there is a
is-
lore video on
yeah.
that, man.
No, we need to do our like Idiot's Guide. Yeah, I need to
Idiot's
get the
Guide.
facts straight.
Idiot's Guide to
'Cause I
Hollow
feel
Earth
like-
theory.
I feel no, I mean like to the Gears. We
Yeah,
can get Josh on to talk about that one.
yeah.
Because every single time I talk about Gears, I feel like I'm hit with some crazy information. I'm
We
like, what?
we'll have to do that sometime soon. Keep an eye
Yeah.
out for the podcast. We'll have to start
gentlemen.
actually making videos again. We might just go back to Chaos Continuum, so I don't have to work as hard about trying to make Idiot's Guide stuff. But
Yeah,
we'll see.
we can do the odd Idiot's Guide. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll like probably split it up
Always
a bit.
do.
But
Yeah.
melodramatic and low energy. By the way, same exact performances. They just copy. I know I said you can't like copy and paste stuff over, but like with audio,
But you can do voice
You can.
lines.
Audio you
Yeah.
can copy and paste.
Well, Dean
Yeah.
an upset, stubborn at times child that doesn't want to do anything with the group or do what he has to. It makes sense for what Ultimate Edition was going for here, and if it
He's the exact same personality. Like,
Isn't he?
Baird thinks that he's better than everyone else.
Interesting.
Just because he's more expressive doesn't change that. Like,
Which
the
one-
intention of the
which
character is
one-
still there. Baird
Which
is a blonde
one's
one.
Baird? Oh, okay.
He called Baird cool. Yeah, Baird is specifically not cool. He thinks he's cool, but he's not. Like, that's the whole point of the character.
Yeah.
Baird is like a Redditor, you know? It's probably why a lot of people defend Baird. He's cool if you, like, wear your hat backwards and you wear, like, a Thrasher shirt, but he's not, like, he's intentionally an asshole to everyone else.
death not only surprising but also a little impactful. Marcus is more
It's the exact... do you have a reason why it's less impactful? Because it's the exact same thing that happened.
I don't know. I feel like yeah.
Like he
See, I
wasn't
feel like when-
he wasn't in one shot in one of the scenes. So therefore in the scene that he had no speaking lines whatsoever. Is such a stupid take.
What the fuck? He was gonna die anyways. And like, did you really care about Carmine's death when he
Yeah.
died? Did you cry? Did you care?
Yeah.
unmotivated and lightweight.
Wait,
than
hold on. No,
previously.
pause it again. I have one more nitpick. Nitpick. Doesn't every character do what the script requires? Isn't that
Well,
the
yeah.
whole point of a fucking script? What does
It's
that
also a
mean?
remaster, so every character is exactly the same as they were before.
But
They're
what
just
does
a
it
bit more
mean? Say, well,
expressive.
he's just there. He's just there to do what the script requires.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean?
like, that's
What does
what-
that mean?
You should be
It's
writing
lit-
characters to follow the script. Like,
To follow the script. And if somebody's
Yeah.
not following the script, fire them.
you're having an issue.
Like-
That's
If they're going off script, you're having like a developmental problem. Fire them.
cliches and
What the fuck does that mean?
predictability in a script does not make the script bad. It
No, it
means
doesn't.
that
Yeah.
it's probably being written in an orderly fashion. Now, if all it is predictable and cliche, then yeah, it's probably bad.
Yeah.
Like Transformers or something,
There's gonna
right?
be-
But like,
There's gonna be whoa. Leave Optimus Prime grinding Megatron's face with his ass alone. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. No. Why does it? That's like one thing that might be predictable. Yeah, but really, I mean, we like if you thought Carmine was gonna die, did you?
Which,
know
by
that
the
a
way,
sniper. I'd like.
it's
Yeah,
not predictable.
I-
Like, there's no setup for him about to get shot in the remaster.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bit more
one of
dramatic,
them
I guess,
could've-
if that's your thing. Like, the camera angle is more dramatic.
Yeah.
But for like, if you're a new player, no.
You don't
And if
know
you're an
that.
old player, of course it's not fucking predictable. You've played the game already. Like,
Yeah, like I don't understand.
make
I
any
don't
sense.
get it.
I've played this game with so many people that have been new to Gears of War that were completely caught off guard by Anthony dying. Like, it's
Oh, don't worry,
like,
I'll
what are you
pretend to
talking?
be
Like,
caught
it's
off guard
predictable.
with-
Yeah,
for
you've
you.
played the fucking game. That's how that works. Like, I don't know if you know the concept of doing something twice, but most of the time, when you do it the second time, it's the same as the first.
I I
Like-
imagine he plays through Gears 1, and he's sitting there with like his grandma on the couch
Why
going,
isn't-
you know what, I bet you that guy's gonna get shot.
Yeah.
And then he gets
He's
shot.
like, you know
he's
what?
like,
I
"Ooh,
think we
did."
win at the end of the game. I bet you we win at the end of the
It's so
game.
predictable. And so after he's beat the game 15 times, he's like, you know what, I bet this
Yeah.
happens. And then he's like, this game is so predictable.
Yeah, it's such a
Yeah,
stupid fucking
It's
take.
insane.
Dialed
It's-
down and
dude,
is
all
not
of
very
these are
interesting,
stupid takes.
Despite mostly following the same script and having the same dialogue from the
Mostly
original.
mostly following. Give us one single example where the script is completely different in any way, because it is the same exact
Sources.
script. Give
Sources.
a single
Sources.
example. You've given us examples of how like the directing and like the camera work is different. How come you don't have a single example of the script being different? Because they're not. It's the same script. It's the same
There's just
story. It's
more
the same
to it.
plot. There's more expressions
There's
in the
more
characters, like movement and animation.
This is like giving
It is
somebody
the
with
same
depression sugar
script.
pills. Yeah. Like,
I'm getting heated.
like-
That's such a stupid fucking.
like-
Even though it's. Hold on.
Not very
What's the exact
interesting,
line?
Despite mostly following the same.
Despite mostly following the
mostly
same
following
script,
the same
it
script.
is the same script. It is the
is-
same script. This isn't
this
Star
is-
Wars: A
this
New
is-
Hope, where we break Han Solo's neck so that he doesn't shoot first, and he's got nano-like reflexes to like shoot Greedo or whatever the fuck. It is the same script. It's presented in a slightly different way, but it is the same
This
script.
is
Verbatim.
like buying a thing. This is like buying a box of Cheerios and then dyeing them all different colors. Like
Yeah,
it's the same
it's-
thing. It
it's
just looks
the
different.
same.
Like it's the exact same thing.
It's the same
Except you
thing.
sprinkle a little more sugar in there because there's a little bit more, but it is the same thing. Like
Ugh.
yeah, like he's placeboing
Yeah.
himself into thinking that they made a whole. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes off the rails and says a whole, and he's like the plot's different, the way the game ends is different. Yeah,
It's exactly the
Marcus,
same. Like the
Like,
only
it's the
difference,
same
I
thing.
guess, is that like Mira's at the end. Like that's like the main big difference, but like that's the only thing that's different.
No, dude, did you hear the way?
Oh,
did
yeah,
you?
I have them in here. Do you need them out there?
Did you?
Do you need the Teddy Grams?
This is one of the worst takes I've ever seen, and I haven't even played Gears, and I already know this is stupid. My God, he's probably the same type of guy that whenever he gets his money, he checks to make sure every bill has a change. Yeah, it's such a mess that it's like organized stupidity. You know what I mean? Hi YouTube. It's organized stupidity. It's how stupid it is. Like this is brain rot.
Hold on, I'm back.
This is fucking brain rot. This is awful. This is gross. Like I don't even like. We've got 2 minutes left, and I already want to cut my nuts off. Like I feel
It
like I'm taking a
screams
video
with
and
like the
cutting-
classic Gears of War. The original is better,
like-
and no
like, I feel
no
like-
exploration whatsoever. Just it's
Yeah.
better.
Dude, this is like my grandfather telling me that when he was a child, life was better, and then everything he tells me is just fucking wrong. Like it just goes against
Yeah.
what he's saying. Like,
No, I worked really hard. I worked really
When I
hard
was
when I was
12.
your age, and he like worked an ice
Yeah.
cream stand and like bought a house,
Yeah.
like a 4-bedroom house off the salary.
Yeah.
And you're like,
yeah.
hold on, you're
Wait,
telling me
hold
you
on a
worked the
second.
desk at the DMV, and you bought a
Hold
fucking house?
Hold on. I feel like if I cut my nuts off and posted that on YouTube, that'd be more informative about the Gears of War Ultimate Edition, or more factually informative than this fucking video.
I mean, you wouldn't be getting anything wrong, so that's an improvement. My cheeks hurt from laughing.
Real shit. Such a stupid
Let's finish
video.
this fucking video.
It's so bad.
Same
It's
script
so
and
bad.
having the
Let's
same
finish it.
dialogue from the original. Marcus wasn't just the
By the way, he also, not to bring it up again, but he also just fucking contradicted, following mostly
What?
the same script and having the
Dialogue.
same dialogue. You just said. I worked at Burger King.
Oh my god.
You just, the script is the dialogue. I don't know how to tell you this, but like,
Oh,
if the script is
God.
different or mostly the same, but the
God,
dialogue is the
I-
same, those two things
I'm-
cannot be true at once.
I'm starting
And
to
if-
think I'm watching a Gears of War schizo post. Like I think this is like a schizophrenic top
He's
of the
just
internet. It
inventing
was
stuff. He's just inventing stuff that's not true.
Like, he's just pulling shit out of a hat and going truth.
Yeah.
main protagonist of the story, the character was the story, and he controlled it. Marcus is the master of the diegesis.
No.
He wasn't the protagonist.
No.
He was the story. What? What?
What the fuck does
What does
that
that even
mean?
mean?
What does that mean?
Hold on. What the fuck word did he just say?
Marcus
A narrative
I don't
plot.
like that.
Did he look this word up? Because he also said it wrong. He said diogesis, but it's diegesis.
Homie is looking it up. This does get worse. You're so right. This
What
is awful.
What is the
fox
difference
say?
between the protagonist and the story? What is the difference between protagonist and master of the story? Master of the story implies that he is like controlling it in some way, which would just make him the protagonist.
He is the writer.
He's pulling like a Wade Wilson where he like holds the writers hostage or whatever.
Marcus Phoenix wrote Gears.
Marcus is the plot. Yeah, like literally nothing about Marcus comes up in the plot except for like his dad for a little bit, and they don't even talk about it. They ask him, they give him a chance to explain it, where they're like, Marcus, why does your dad have information on the Locust tunnels? And he goes, deal with it.
It goes past that because in about 3 seconds they talk about the camera and how it like follows him, and I'm like, that does not make. What the fuck does that mean? That like when I play Jack,
looks like he could be any generic soldier hero. Then a
hold on. So wait, so you're telling me that if I play Jack as Gears 5, that Jack's in control of the story? That
the camera
he's
does
the main
follow him.
character. The camera does follow him.
So he's the ultimate straight man, which, by the way,
I
a
would-
straight man is generic. And then he could be any generic story soldier hero than a larger. He was never larger than life. He's the one character that has no personality.
Dude, he's placeboing himself.
He has such little personality that Steve Bloom played Marcus in the original 2005 tech demo.
decent remake. It was a shame that it removed so many good elements, concepts, and attributes.
Can you pause it for a minute?
So
Can you pause it? He just jerked me off and stopped before I came. Yeah.
Is he edging you?
So he just edged me. Yeah, because he literally lied from the title, right? Yeah. He said it's a wasted remake and goes, nah, it's a decent remake. Pick a fucking lane, dude.
That's also true.
Pick a fucking lane, dude. What the fuck? He's contradicting himself. God, I should play a drinking game and take a shot for every contradicting. I'd be pissed. I'd be in the hospital by now. Holy fuck.
Original game. Don't replace it or remove things left and right.
By the way.
Nobody removed anything. Maybe
By the
then,
way,
like,
his
what?
main complaint of Ultimate Edition is that it feels too much like an action movie, and the clip he uses for Gears of War 3 is the most action movie shit in the entire fucking game.
Insane.
So if you want them to preserve the identity of these games, if anything, Ultimate Edition brings Gears 1 more in line with Gears 2 and Gears 3, which are more action movie.
Can we watch the My Little Pony one now, please? I want to watch the My Little Pony one.
Hype video. That is fucking insane.
As this is the only game that I've played and the only game that I feel like I can actually contribute to a take here.
Yeah. Are you saying, hold on.
Go back.
You say no, this is not the video that has it? I also love the really dramatic black and white editing.
Was this the same one where I went, the guy was like, go back to work, woman? Is that the same?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Gio Jablonski?
watch
I don't
that.
really know, but
If you become a member, you can watch
you're
me
in chat
play
with
through
us.
Half of Judgment with Kyle.
he has takes in Judgment. Yeah. If you become a member, you can watch me and Ben play through Judgment. Because
If you
there's
become
some
a member for $1, there is some funny
jokes in
moments
that.
in that. I will. There are some. There are
What's the
some.
most watched
I hate.
part of this video.
I hate
Main
Jack.
story. I don't want to hear his takes on the multiplayer.
Okay.
The fourth installment in the Gears
that
of
the
War
Yapper?
gaming
I have no idea.
franchise, Judgment was a prequel and filler to the original Gears of War trilogy, taking place 15 years before Gears of War's time and 30 days later after the most defining event in the entire Gears of War universe, Emergence Day. One of the greatest things about the
Erection
original
Day.
Gears of War games was they all had a story with a very strong thematic message to its players. In Gears of War, it was about redemption. Gears of War 2,
I guess.
the horrors of warfare. In Gears of War 3, it was about survival. and Gears of War Judgment was a game about heroism. Many
Judgment.
Gears fans
Okay.
criticized Judgment's story for the lack of presence or any involvement from the original trilogy's two main stars.
Hold on. I'm too fucking tired right now to listen to him at 1.525 speed.
Marcus Phoenix and Dominic Santiago. Epic made this change for many logical reasons. To expand the Gears lore, to visit a period of time that was never really explored by the fandom in the games, as well as fully explore the origins and backstory of one of the Gears of War game's sold fan favorite and prestigious characters, Damon Baird. A change of narrative focus that not only made sense considering Damon Baird was a character favorite of the hardcore fans, but the character was a likable and overall a justified protagonist for players to get behind and root for in a Gears game.
He didn't have his story told in Gears of War 3. Cole got to have his...
I mean, I guess. I don't know. I feel like Baird is just not...
I like the terrorist guy. That was my favorite.
As the main character. However, really...
Friend of Baird, Augustus Cole, and two characters from the Gears of War lore making their first ever appearance in a Gears game, Garen Paddock of the UIR, and Sophia Hendrick, a soldier in the COG military.
I also found out...
Can I make a hot take? Just from Judgment, I like the woman. I like the woman and the terrorist more than I like the other two.
Yeah, Baird and Cole are kind of like boiled down to like their most basic personality traits.
Baird and
Sophia's
Cole
interesting.
Felt like nothing characters. Sophia
and Paddock is really interesting.
I think I liked Sophia because
I also didn't know she was a war. So during the Pendulum Wars, she was a reporter, like a war reporter, and then she joined up with the Onyx after E-Day.
See, I like the way that she looks because it's a drastic difference between everybody else. Right?
Because she's also technically like Spec Ops, like the Onyx Guard are like the elite.
I think it's why I like the look of her. I like everything about her, and then the terrorist guy I like 'cause it's a different color palette. Just feels like he feels like a much. He feels like, if I'm remembering this, maybe I'm placeboing myself here. He just feels like a hardened character. You know what I mean? Right?
Paddock is unironically a terrorist. Like he executed a bunch of scientists and stuff like that, and tried to take over the Hammer of Dawn to use against the COG.
I don't know. I kind of fuck with it.
Like he hates them with a burning passion. Yeah.
But I think I like that because you kind of feel like when I used to playing Judgment, right? You kind of
it's
feel
an alternate character because like most characters don't like the COG. Like even Marcus and like Barrick will talk about how much the COG sucks. Like Marcus has a line in Gears of War 2 where he's like, "I'm sure the COG had their reasons. Probably wasn't a very good reason though." Which is like, nobody likes the COG, but like Paddock openly fucking hates them. Like he doesn't even like.
And I think that's why I like it is that you got Spec Ops woman who actually feels badass. Right?
It's a more varied cast from like the original.
It's a much more, but then there's the other two who I'm like, okay, you just meatheads at this point. You know what I mean?
They're just like stand-ins of their previous selves.
Like I'll tell you this much: I only remember the funny mustache, like Hitler guy and terrorist guy and Spec Ops.
He is named after a Nazi. His name unironically comes from. His name Ezra Pound Loomis is literally the exact same name as a Nazi poet from Italy.
And I remember the robot, but like rather
and
than
Jack
that,
or Troy.
Whatever. And rather than
they make a fucking Troy reference in a Gears of War game, which is on Sarah. So they never had the story of Troy, which I always found weird.
But like those are like I think I only remember the robot because the bit that I did when I just actively just got up and left.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I remember the other three because first of all I liked it as a mustache design. I mean it's your classic villain, right? Yeah. There's some substance to him there. Right, and then the other two, like a terrorist who like openly hates it, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I fuck with it, right?
Yeah.
Spec Ops woman. I mean, they both had really cool designs, in my opinion, right?
It's very striking. And then the other different from like the original stuff.
Well, like the kind of the green palette that the terrorist, I'm gonna reference the terrorist guy has. Like I really like that, and like the more badassery of the Spec Ops woman. And the other two just kind of fall flat. I think that's why, like, when I see pictures of Marcus, he looks like a background character. Yeah.
Yeah, he is your most generic straight edge soldier man.
Yeah. Like I look at all the people that I see in Gears rather than those two, and they look so disinteresting. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I think to a point.
I think Dom maybe has something more to him. Right.
Yeah. Dom
Yeah,
has a lot of personality in his design.
yeah, and you can feel that, but I think everybody else is like, okay, so
Yeah.
you're all just like the same person, except one of you is like blonde and an asshole, and the other one's got a bandana and an asshole, and black and an asshole, and you know, like it
Yeah.
just, I don't know. When I say the story is bland, I think I mean most of the characters that I've run into are just really fucking bland. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I've like Judgment gave me a lot of issues with Gears. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not a great game to start with
probably not.
necessarily, but
Probably
for
not.
timeline wise, it fits.
Yeah, I'd love to. I want to keep playing them at some point, but
You might want.
I don't think
I
he's
don't.
the antagonist though.
I
Like,
don't
he's an
think. I think
antagonistic
he's.
force, but he's not the main antagonist.
I think he's B antagonist. You know what I mean? He's like sidekick antagonist in that sense, right?
He's more of
He's
like a
or
roadblock.
yeah, I was gonna say he's like the like yeah, like a roadblock. He's the plot antagonist in the sense that
Yeah.
he's there to make sure that
I
the
guess
plot
he's
goes
more of an
wrong.
antagonist in like story wise. The cog in general, yeah. But like the Gears games don't have antagonists, except for like 3, I mean, with Mira. But like Gears 1
Yeah,
doesn't have an antagonist. You could say Rom, but Rom shows up twice. Scourge
I think
maybe in
it's
Gears 2, but Scourge shows up twice. Mira is actually an
it's
antagonist
hard.
in 3, and then like 4 and 5 don't have an antagonist.
It's hard to think of it's hard to have an antagonist in my mind, right? Yeah, it's hard to have a
Well, it's not like
defining
Warhammer
antagonist
where
in
like
the story.
everyone sucks.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, right? Yeah, that it because you
Yeah.
like playing through Judgment, you just realize that everybody fucking sucks, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to have the antagonist. It just feels like I'm in a world and this is just something that happens,
Yeah, it's just
right?
another
You know
asshole.
what I mean? It's just another asshole that's trying to kill a group of people, right? Yeah, like, would you want to know what it is? Remember when we talked about I'm segueing again. I hope you're okay with that for about 5 minutes.
That's fine.
Yeah. Do you remember when we talked about Transformers and how you really couldn't in like the live action movies, how you couldn't tell the difference between the Decepticons and the
Yeah,
Autobots?
because they just
Yeah,
all murder.
right. Yeah, because they
Yeah.
just all murder, right? I think that is my not my issue with Gears, but that's what Gears does, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that
Because
they
like
all murder, they're all fucking horrible people, right? So you really can't have an antagonist full of antagonists. You know what I
yeah.
mean, right?
Well, it's like
There's no
his take
hero in the
here
story.
in a context of Judgment, where he says like Loomis is doing this out of revenge because they disobeyed orders. That's what
Yeah,
you're supposed to do when you disobey orders in the military.
yeah,
Like what are you
yeah.
talking
That's
about? Like that's called due
that's how
process.
they.
It's not necessarily
Yeah,
due
that's
process in Gears because they're authoritarian or whatever, but like that's the
yeah.
consequences of your
But
actions.
it, but it, but and
Like
it, but it, and it just makes sense that he doesn't care what the outcome is. He's going to kill him anyways. He's an
yeah, he's got more
authoritarian.
important things to worry about.
Yeah, they're way more important things, right? It's not that he's
Yeah.
being it's like you said, he's more
He's
of a
just doing his
roadblock,
job. He's kind of an
right? But
asshole,
he's
but he's
just
doing his
doing,
job.
yeah, he's doing his. But who the fuck isn't? You know what I mean?
Serve my family or die. Yeah, exactly. Optimus did not care.
Yeah, like Optimus did not give a shit, right?
Yeah,
And I
that's the
just
protagonist.
so far from what I'm seeing from him is he's trying to take, in my opinion, right? This is yeah, like just an opinion. The Gears
He
story and
takes,
trying to make it into something that it like more than it is,
yeah,
you know,
which it's
right?
not, and also like
Which is
because
not,
most of that
yeah.
is built on like Loomis is being like mean,
Hello,
I guess, which makes him the antagonist. Hello,
you
yeah.
know what I mean?
He kind of just
You
applies
can't
like
like
Loomis is being mean, so
yeah,
therefore he's the antagonist. But like by that logic, like is Marcus the antagonist in Gears 1 when he lets that one stranded dude just fucking die? Or in Gears War 2 when
is
he like stops Dom from trying to go like save Maria? Or like,
yeah.
you
I
know,
mean,
like what?
in Gears 3 is the gas station the antagonist? Yeah, because it kills
It
Dom.
might be. It might
Like
be.
you know what I mean? Like with that
Dom and gas
logic, the
stations. I think it
antagonist.
was revenge though, because Dom blows up a gas station in Gears 1, so I think the gas stations wanted revenge. You
True,
know what I mean?
but that's still being an antagonist. I think we've discovered the
Well, yeah.
true Gears of War antagonist is a
The
fucking
real
gas
Gears of
station.
War lore.
Yeah, yeah. There's a
Oh
video
my.
idea for you.
Let's
The
finish this
shitter
stupid fucking
episode.
video.
Getting back out there and fighting, Captain.
He's
The
just playing
right
clips.
understand. Loomis has thought that he has seen everything there is to see in warfare, and he hasn't. When the story reflects on the oldest event in the Gears universe, the Pendulum Wars, this was a time period larger than Kilo Squad disobeyed his direct orders. This has a triggering effect to him, like someone suffering from PTSD.
Okay, hold on.
Crazy take. You're saying he has a PTSD episode when they disobey orders, and he's not
Hold
just
on.
their superior officer dealing with insubordinate officers?
Bye, Bob.
Bye, Bob. That feels like the natural. Like, what do you expect? He was supposed to like walk over and give him a medal for being heroic. Like, it's not how that works. You like got mad about
a bag of rice. He's taking a bag of rice and trying to make it gourmet with nothing but like his own bare fucking hands, and it's not working. He's taking something he's trying to make rice into a hamburger. Yeah.
The worst takes in the Gears community all bundled up in one YouTube channel. Yeah. Basically. I have not a single argument. Like maybe like the Gears, the Act 5 thing or Act 4 thing in Ultimate Edition being a like kind of weirdly scripted, whatever. I can kind of get behind that, right? But like, what? You're just applying a PTSD thing to this guy. What? Because it's different because he didn't expect someone to disobey the rules? Like, what are you talking about?
The next thing you know, he's going to be like, the dude's angry because he has ED. You know?
Yeah.
He can't get it up in the morning, that's why he's an asshole. He can't get it up in the morning, he's upset.
It's such a crazy take.
Know, like,
it's such a weird
It
take.
is. It's so wild, yeah.
Loomis crosses the line using military justice as a mask for his revenge against Baird and Kilo Squad.
No, this is just how the COG does things. They just execute people. They do it to Sophia in this game. They faked Adam's death, kidnapped him, and made him a political prisoner on an island. I get PTSDs. My kids don't listen to every single strict rule I make. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's just how. Like, do you not understand that the COG are bad guys? Like, do you not? Like,
don't they do
a lot of ideas? Yeah, they're not very good ideas.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna.
That comes a little bit after this, but still, it's not good.
No. But they still do that, right? I don't mean to like meta game here. Yeah, with the lore, right? But they still do that stuff. Don't they just like kill like populations of people? Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that something they do? Like just because they're trying to kill the locusts? Like they already do this fuck shit. Right, but it's of course this specific part has to be some revenge stuff. Like he
at times defends the COG. There are times when you can defend the COG, but like this is just a bad take. Like the COG are doing shady shit. Like
there's times
halfway through the Pendulum Wars, they sent up internment camps. Yeah. Like New Hope was like a fucking concentration camp where they tested on prisoners.
Yeah.
Like, they're not good.
I thought you were I thought you were to segue into talking about Star Wars for some reason. I was like, where the fuck is this going?
Let's get through this.
Especially
3 minutes left.
The Open Arms program may have given.
Okay, so the COG and the UIR were at war for 79 years. There's a cultural reason for him to hate Paddock. Why wouldn't he hate Paddock? That's not a personal thing for him. That's most people with most UIR. Paddock also hates him equally the same. Like, does like Paddock have some secret PTSD vendetta? Like
they made out once on a beach. Like
he had his heart broken.
Made out once on a beach. And he got his heart broken, and he's like, "I'm gonna kill you."
He's got his own music playing in the background over the top of the scene that already has music, and it's really like annoying to listen to.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The ending boss fight of this game was such a fucking blur. I do not remember a lot of what happened.
Of what is happening and how a heroic leader of his caliber slumped to this level. When Loomis tells
hold on. Can I look at this from my perspective? Yeah, you know what I think is going on? I don't think he had some sort of prolific, holy shit, I'm a piece of shit moment. I think he had a prolific moment of, hey, I'm not gonna kill these guys, I need their help. Yeah, you know what I mean?
The Locusts are bad.
And then Locusts are bad, and then they helped him fight to help him kill it, and he went, you know what, fuck it, I don't want to deal with this with you guys right now. Yeah?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think it was some prolific, man, I'm such a bad guy.
Because you see, he keeps talking about like context and like the books and stuff, but like one of them, I forget what it's called, Dirty Little Secrets, when they go to Vectis after the end of Gears of War 2, and they take in a bunch of UIR, like, refugees, even still, the COG and the UIR are fucking beefing about shit, because it's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
It's not like a personal thing to Loomis.
Yeah.
Like, this is a thing they just do.
Yeah. I'm just saying that because he's talking about Loomis having this profound moment of, oh my god, maybe these people aren't bad. Oh my god, I slumped. So
I think the effect of the locust is setting in. Like, that's, I agree with that. But
Yeah.
then, like, the
Yeah,
personal
I think
thing, it's like kind of,
I don't
I
think
think
there's
he's
a personal
overblowing
thing.
it.
I think the Locust showed up. He was like, and then the dude saved him. Since like the terrorist dude saved Loomis, he was like, "Fuck it, dude, let's kill the Locust," because the Locusts are obviously the bigger problem, right? Yeah, they finish up killing this big Locust boss. Now it's like, okay, so you saved my ass. I'm not a better person. I'm just gonna walk away from this. You know what I mean?
Basically.
Right? Yeah, beef is over. I think that's all that there is to it. I don't think there's this whole, because he's making it sound like Loomis when in the span of 3 seconds.
Loomis tries to shake Paddock's hand, but Paddock didn't follow through on it. Yeah, because Paddock is so, like, it's not like a respect thing. It's the fact that Paddock literally hates the fucking COG. Yeah,
it's a cultural thing. It's
would not
ingrained
even
there.
Baird, who he was on good terms with, said, "Hey, if I ever see you again, we're not going to be friends. I'm going to fucking kill you." Like, that's the subtext of what he tells Baird at the end of Aftermath.
Yeah.
And then Gears 5 undoes that, and it's really stupid, but
it's a cultural thing. I think he's just whoever, I can't remember this guy's name is. Yeah, he's just taking it. He's just blowing it out of whatever.
Yeah, it's a two-way street, but he's trying to pretend like it's a
before this guy say anything, do you know what I think he's gonna say from the 3 seconds of dialogue? Yeah. Is he's gonna go, he's finally accepted his wrongdoing, and he's, giving mercy and realizing that he doesn't have to slump this low and he can be a good person. When in reality, these 4 fuckers just helped take down this big locust thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's still
I think it's the
punishing
realization
them
that conventional warfare doesn't work anymore.
Yes, and he's still, exactly, and he's still punishing them as he would normally do. There's no sense of profound, I feel bad for you, right? Yeah, but he is letting them go because he understands that, you know what I mean, what they do works and all that shit, right? Yeah, but this fucker is gonna talk about some sort of like emotional thing. We keep playing it.
One's prejudice as well as xenophobia towards others. We are all brothers.
I do not think he's realized that. I think the next terrorist guy that he sees, he's going to treat the exact fucking same.
Yeah, I think he has this kind of respect for Paddock, not because he like now doesn't hate UIR people, but because he doesn't hate Paddock especially.
Yeah, because he doesn't hate Paddock as much.
He dies like a few days after this, so it doesn't really matter.
Who, Loomis or Paddock?
Yeah, Loomis.
Fans of gaming franchises want to play the games for what they are supposed to be. Like the old saying goes, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. I concur
but it's
that Gears of
broken.
War Judgment did
That's
go
wrong, though. I get what he's trying to say, which is kind of, I mean, it's true for some people. Like, nobody, like, the reason people hate Gears of War 4 and 5 so much, and why they love, like, why they say Gears 1 is so much better, is not because it's different. That's part of it. That's what they point to is why they hate it. They hate it because it's not good.
Yeah.
Which is the bigger thing. Like,
yeah, well, it's
if it was good, people wouldn't give a shit. Look at, like, the perfect example of this is God of War and the new God of War
I
games.
knew it. Called it. Knew you were gonna bring
the
that
new
up.
God of War
I
games play nothing like the originals. The story is nothing like the originals. The everything is nothing like the originals. But they are fucking regaled as some of the best games in gaming because they are good fucking games.
Look at the new Spider-Man 2, right? Most people that I talk about with, like, not despise it but don't like it. And it's not like they did anything new. It's just a bad game, right?
It's just a bad game.
I know. Yeah, I know. I do also know what he's trying to say, but I think people will point to stuff like that for the reason they don't like it, right? Because with certain games, it's hard to put your finger on.
Boundaries in gameplay. Gears has never pushed the boundaries of gameplay, though. It's never once done that.
But I get that if it's not broke, don't fix it. But I mean, no game is perfect.
People
There's
don't
always room to improve. Yeah,
the biggest
people don't
thing
play
about
the same fucking thing.
Yeah, that's also true. But like the biggest thing is like, what do you call it?
Yeah,
people don't know what they're talking about when they talk, that's why like that's like why his Ultimate Edition review sucks, because he just says it's worse writing, it's worse pacing, and it's like, where is the evidence of this? Where is your reasoning for this? Because if you just say it's worse, there's no context to your opinion on that. You have to build out why you think it is or isn't or whatever.
It's kind of like you said with people with the new Gears 4 and 5, right? That sure, it's different as part of the reason. Yeah, but the game is just bad. But a lot of people can't. Not a lot of.
But they can't articulate why they think it's bad.
They can't articulate.
So they just point to it
just,
being different because
just,
that's the most obvious.
Yeah, they
change.
just double down on being different, and that's what he's doing. Is that he can't figure out exactly why, or he can like a little bit.
Yeah.
Why he doesn't like the Ultimate Edition? Then he just almost placebos himself into thinking things that aren't true.
I don't think it's placebo. I think it's like gaslighting. Yeah.
That's you know what I mean. Same shit, different story, really.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what they do to a Gears game.
It's not a good complaint. It's just a complaint.
It's just a complaint. Like, there's nothing. Like, there's maybe been small things, and I think the only time he's made a point that I kind of agree with was unintentional. Yeah. Like, I don't think he's intentionally said something that I've been like, fair point. Now, if we... Like, Marcus and Dom are the best duo ever?
States Marcus and Dom are the best duo? Yeah, that's not
like, ever?
True.
Or just in Gears? Because I like the Black Ops lady and Terrorist,
another
man.
17-minute video.
That's,
they also aren't. Like, Halo and Arbor clear, and I haven't even played Halo 2. Or Halo 3,
dude, completely, dude.
Marcus and Dom don't have a relationship until the first half of Gears of War 3.
Eric Cartman and Kenny clear that. Yeah?
Yeah.
Like my parents clear that duo. Yeah? Like...
Yeah.
I don't know. And you know what? It's videos like this that make me think Gears is a blind game, and it's because a lot of videos that I try to watch like this, and then I talk to you about it, and I realize that some of those videos are just grasping at fucking nothing. I'm like, is there really nothing to talk about? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's basically what it is. He did quote videos. I don't know what the fuck resound means. Are you shoving straws up Marcus's cock? Like...